Hi, this is Will. Just wanted to go down a little bit of the Grand Prix race manager. Did my very first Grand Prix not too long ago, or I guess I should say the Pinewood Derby, and so wanted to make sure that some of this is retained. So I'm going to walk through the entire step of a mock event and some of the things that I would do. So of course I'm going to start by making a new file. So we'll call this mock race. And as far as the software settings here, this is good to go, sure. All right, for report titles, I never did reports. Maybe we can try that. So, great. So now the software settings, the most important thing here is, well, actually it's not here. Right, it's the number of tracks. So we have 6 lanes, but for forever what you want, and so I actually customize the colors here so that I can have them match what's actually out there. And schedules, sure, we didn't really use vehicle numbers. I don't understand master scheduling. I'm gonna have to figure that out in the future. So the standings, we did average here. And finally, the awards, sure. Okay, so actually, so is there anything for advanced? There was, let's see, general. No, didn't really use anything here. Oh, there was one thing I used, and that was for the image files. So I wanted to have pictures. This image file location is that was something tricky that I had to do to make sure that it actually had the right download place in order to get the pictures. Otherwise, it didn't find it at all. Yeah, there's something about an app. I'm gonna have to take a look. Okay, so that's about it. And so we'll save. Okay, so software settings. Report settings. Sure. This may be from, let's see, check-in sheet. Oh, this actually is pretty cool. Maybe I'll use this next time. Car labels, award certificates. You can print them out directly here. Keep that in mind. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and, is there anything here? I wonder why it doesn't give save. Well, it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to check it. Reports is not really something I did. Hardware settings, I can't do it now. I'm not connected up to a system, but I'm just going to go over it here. So we had to be on the champ. And what we did basically is, or what I did is do the start testing here. And I had to select a serial port, which I don't have at this point. And then finally it was this test heat. And then I could actually see stuff happened. And I didn't have anything here. But this is a key component. We're not going to cover it here, so I'm just going to check it off. Okay, so here's where the rubber starts to meet the road for the actual Pinewood Derby. So I'm going to define the groups, and what I found is that using this structure here for the Cub Scouts is good enough, but it's important to have 1 or 2 extra slots. Let's see, adults will be competing, let's say definitely. Times and points, so times is going to be the average time that we set earlier. Of course, it could be cumulative time. There were different ways of doing this. The fastest time is another one, or by points. And point is like first place is 1 point, second place is 2 points, and the lowest points wins overall. And so I did everyone mixed together. Actually, I guess we could do this. Children separate, adults separate. Sure. So let's do that. And there we go. So I have the adult section, and I can add, maybe I add guests. And maybe I add, yes I do. I'm going to add 10 leaders. So this is just so that I can parse things out. I don't have to use them the day of, but I can use them in general. And it's better to have them and not use them, the vice versa. Here for the scout piece, this looks like it just froze. Let's cancel. Ooh, actually, what was that? I missed it. So, for scouts, here's all the different parts. I didn't use siblings. I'm not really sure what that would be for, but I'm going to take this and make this guests, because having a place to stick people when you don't know is important, so you don't have to do it after the fact. Okay, so we've finished the competitive group, so let's go back home. So we've defined the competitive groups and we're good to go. Let's make sure they're there. We can also go right here to define all these things. Okay, so I'm going to go back to overview. We finished this, and I'm going to define the awards. Let's see. I guess show award types. Let's see. We'll come back to this. This is when I actually am just displaying it. So I'm going to call this fastest overall. And we had, and let's see, so that's going to be the scouts in general, and for the rank, none, because it's the fastest scout in all. Award type. So we'll call this, we'll call that speed general. Yes, I do. So let's make that. Then we have, let's say, best design. We'll just have two. And now the priority, the higher the priority, the last that it shows. So it's best to enter these things with the one you want to show last, which is usually like the overall winner, to the one you want to show first, which could be like the Lion Derby or something like that. And you also have the ability to put in the winner manually, which right now we have no scouts entered. So we'll do best assign, it's just scouts, but then we'll do something like fastest lion. And we'll make that lion. So, so these are my awards. So we have fastest lion comes in here. And then if I go to scouts, you can see these are all of them. So, after I have the awards down, which I guess I have to click this here, really? Also, importing and exporting is a good idea to be able to do it in the future. I don't know that if it's that useful here, but it's definitely useful for the registration. So let's get to the registration next. And so let's just do like, there's going to be 2 lions and 2 bears. So I'm going to go ahead and do, so last name, we'll do test. Car number 1, car name is test. The group of scouts, it's a lion. I'm going to leave those blank for now. This just means that it passed the inspection, you know, that it's more than 5 ounces and all that stuff. Yeah, I can put in a picture, which I will say going over here and exporting is a great thing to make a sign-up sheet so that you can just take the sheet and import it, or have something that a bunch of people are adding to so that you can import along the way. So I'm going to add another. Let's see, I'll do test 2, and I'll do test. And car name is testing. Again, this is a lion. I'm not going to put anything here, no picture. And I'm going to want to add, let's see, I'm going to say bear, and this is bear. Car name is barely there. And I'll make him a bear. And then finally, actually I'll add 6 racers. So I'm going to do Muppet, dancing car. Again, I'll save it. Yes, I do. Last name, Carol, that's me. And I'll do my car. And this is going to be one of the adults. And I can say my guess, I'm a den leader. I'll say I'm a den leader, and I'm going to go, yes I do, I'm going to go after Beardsley. And who's another one of the den leaders? His car. And save it. So I now have 2, so this is all scouts. But you can see that by lions, I have it divided up. By bears, I have it divided up. So if I need to find something very quickly, I can. You can see that adults, I guess it's not just adults, it's going to be den leaders. It has a broken eye. Okay, so one of the reasons that it would be good to export at this point, it makes a CSV file, is that I can put it up on Google Docs so that many people can write to it, like for registration or something like that, or maybe even the initial sign-up sheets. And so you're able to get all the different, information. You can have car numbers. So let's say that it's the day of, I'm importing it. I get it all there, and I think for import, probably already have a file. Let's see. Well, I guess it would be, you know what? Actually, you know what? I think it's in maybe applications. Well, it doesn't matter. So as long as I know where it's at, I have the ability to put it in, and that really, I think, would be the best way to do this. Okay, so now I'm going to create a schedule. And the schedule is going to recognize that I have these 6 lanes, and I'm going to do it that way. So the perfect end type, I'd recommend this, and there's this little wizard that kind of asks you some questions. So let's say it's the day of, and we're going to, check in everyone. So we check in one by one. They say that they passed. That means that they're ready to race. And I'm going to pass all these guys. But you can see that this would be a time not to do it. But let's say we exclude someone so that they could still race, but maybe they have something illegal. There's 6 ounces and they don't want to change it. So I have the ability to exclude them here. So now I'm going to create the schedules, and you can see, so number of racers, a timer, yes. We're going to score by times. So I have 6 track lanes. Racers to go down each track of the lane, or each lane of the track. So this is the way to get out a fast lane versus a slow lane. So I'm going to do next. Based on your settings and responses, recommended it will be perfect end type. So this kind of just takes all the racers and puts them through. And it seems like this is preferable because everyone races everyone in the first one. Whereas the lane rotation, you take a group and then you move everyone through, and then another person comes in at the beginning. So they're always kind of racing the same people. So I kind of like number 1 over number 2. Dynamic, the good thing about dynamic is that it has the ability to make slow racers race slow racers, and fast racers race fast racers. So maybe a little bit more exciting. But I think for all intents and purposes, the first one is good. So I'll finish up, and I'm going to do perfect end type, and I'm going to schedule. Past racers, so I'm just doing scouts, and I'm going to generate. Do you want to race with one of those? Yeah, sure. So you can see I have 2 buys and 4, and I'm going to have how many heats? So 6 heats. And that makes sense that I have, this gives it so that I can do at least 1 person on each track. So I'll go to save. And actually, one thing that's kind of nice, I do not. Yes, I do. Try again. Maybe that was for adults. Yeah, so I'm going to schedule here. Same thing. Generate. Yes. Again, 6 heats. And I can also look at the lane use. How many times it's going to go through and who the opponents are going to be. Of course, there's only 2, so that's what's going to happen. So I'll go ahead and save it. Doesn't matter. Don't care about the report at this point. I never really used a report the last time, so maybe that's something I can do in the future. Okay, so now it's race day. I have everything, at this point, this is, I've done the registration. You can see that it's fast to make the schedules. I'd recommend doing it the day of, but it might be good to post the schedule somewhere. so that people can see, what heat they're going to be in. And that's something that we didn't do this last time that would actually be good for the next time. So now it's race day, and you can see that this is the actual schedule. So you see the two buys are kind of walking through and all of the test racers. So I have 6 heats, and those 4 racers are going to be on every single lane. Okay, so now I'm sure there's a better way to, well, actually, here we go. So I go to the audience display for racing. That brought this up on another screen. And this, I'd recommend taking your computer and putting this on that display. And so I'm going to ensure that attackers do not put this in full screen mode. Yeah. Okay, so let's just say that this is on the parents' schedule. I'm going to put this in test mode so that, although I guess, you know what, I'm not going to put it in test mode. Test mode really is so that you don't reset anything, but I'm going to throw this away. And by reset anything, I mean like the fastest track time and things of that nature. Okay, so I'm going to run I'm going to run the scouts. So you can see, so this is the display. This is showing me the current heat, and this is showing me who is coming up. So it's good to say, hey, these are the people that need to come up, and these are for people that are checking out to see what's going on. I'm going to go ahead and put in test data. Oh, I guess I need to have it in test mode. Fine, put it in test mode. So I'll put manual results, I'll put test data, and you can see that I now have average times. So what I will want to do is, and this is if I do it manually. There is, if I go under options, which I think is here. Nope, it is not options, it's the racing settings. I can do enable auto heat advance, which then allows me to enable hands-free timing. So you could do this without standing there. I didn't like this because it advanced on me a couple times, but it could be that I was just new. But something good to know. Nope. Okay, so I have the first one done, and that's the heat, the first heat. So now I'm going to advance a heat. I ready the timer, and then the people would race, and to simulate that, we're going to do another test. So again, I have data, and so I can show the heat winner, and I can show the the on deck here. This seems to be more useful, but this might be good for them to see their names up there, and of course whatever track record is in play. And so I'm going to advance. So that was the second heat. We're going to go to the third heat. Again, I'm going to get the test data. So we have this here, and I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Oh, actually, no, I need to advance the heats. That was the third heat. We're going to go to the fourth heat. Okay, more test data. So I'm going to go to the fifth heat. More test data, and these are the simulated races. And then finally, this is the sixth heat. Okay, so I've finished. And so now I have all this information here. Well, let's say that somewhere along the line, some scout came up and said, hey, I want to, I want to be in this too. I came in late. How do you get back from that? So the way that you do it, and we had to do this last time, so I'm going to press escape to get rid of this. It's not going to get rid of that. Let's see. Oh, close. Here we go. So even though I have all the data, I'm going to go back to registration, and I'm going to add another line. And so you could in your schedule or manually add heats. So I'm going to have to manually add heats. because they missed it. So they can't race against everyone, but they can race either against themselves or other people that show up late. So I'm going to say late guy 1. I'm going to make him a lion. We'll call him Bob. And so we're going to pass him because they already checked it. And I'm going to say late guy 2, and it's Fred. And we're going to pass him. He's also a lion. No, I do not. Okay, so you can see now I have 2 new lions that come through. And so I'm going to go back to racing day. And I can do this anytime. So let's say that there's, for us we had 23 heats. And so then we did like 6 more heats at the very end. But this is kind of what it looked like. So I'm going to go back to racing. And let's open up this here. And I'm going to have to add manual heats. And so I'm going to say, actually, I wonder if I can do both. No, okay. I either have to do adults or scouts. Okay, so we're going to do scouts. The following racers have been passed but are not run on a schedule. Create a new one, manually create. Okay, so I need to manually create one to ensure the new track do not put the racing system. Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm going to do the manual heats. And so for the manual heats, I'm going to say add heat. It takes it. And I'm going to add at least these 2. But let's say that I wanted to, there's one guy that, hey, I want to race again. So I can go ahead and put him here as well. And then I might exclude those times. Well, we'll have to investigate that. But if worst comes worst, I can just do these 2. But we'll check on Muppet Dancing and see how that goes. So I'm going to save it. There are empty lanes. I'm going to put by racers. And so you can see I have, so I have these 3 for the round 1. So I'm going to say, so that's 12. Yeah, because we did 6 and now we have 6 more. So I'm going to go ahead and close and let's take a look. Yeah, here we go. So we have the first 6 that have times. And now we just see late guy 1 and Muppet, and we can see them moving down. So these are going to be the heats that we have to do at the very end, because these are for the late people. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to advance. You can see that these are these are the times that we had before as I'm advancing through. So we're going to go, let me just move that here. So we're going to go until we don't see one. Okay, well, this is where we're going to start again. And I'm going to do manual results, do test data. I need to turn this on. Here, test mode. And I'll do manual, test data. Okay, so now I have 1 more. So that's the 7th heat. I'm going to do the 8th heat. I'm going to do the 9th heat, the 10th heat, the 11th heat, and then finally the 12th heat. Okay, so we're completely done. Well, I guess we still have the adults, but we'll look at them in a second. Maybe. Okay, so now we have all the information. So we're going to, and by the way, if you ever get any errors, you just rerun a heat. So let's say for that last one, we need to redo it, because, I don't know, a car jumps off the track or a kid runs into it. So I can do rerun the heat, and I'm going to, well, this timer's not been initialized today. Test the timer communications. Well, I guess I can't do that in this test mode. Although, let's see. Oh, no, I'm still in test mode. Okay, good enough. So I have all the data here. And I can look at the standings. Let's see. So test. This had the lowest average time. And you can see that the late guys actually were able to come in. And the dancing Muppet, we'll have to take a look at that and see what happened. Maybe I have to exclude some pieces. But, you know, I guess what I should have done is just put those as buys. So maybe I wouldn't recommend doing what I did here, having someone race that way. So I would go ahead and export these things at this point, but you can actually, review the standings for its land, that's for sure. So the standings, this came up on another screen. Let's see, let me make this smaller. And so I can say, here's for the scouts, and I press OK, and oh yeah, and then here's the reveal, where I can show this information. Let's see, I'll put this down here, and put this off to the side, so you can see I'll reveal the next one. So let's walk it through the top three. So we didn't do this, but you can see that it's something you can do. But we're going to do awards. So we have the fastest, let's see, here's all the, I guess we didn't define any for the adults. Here's all the different ones. So we're going to do the fastest overall. And we can decide from the standings. So I can go over here and say, so test, car number 1. So test is going to be fastest overall. So if I go over here, I can do fastest overall is test 1. And I'm going to do priority 1, which means it's going to be shown last. And then I'm going to go standings again. Standings, so number 2 is test 2. I have very creative names. And I'm going to do, oh, well, you know what? I don't have a number 2. So you know what? I'm going to go over to the standings, but for the lions, because it's the fastest lions. So it's test, number 1. Well, we already did this one. So this is where you get to make the choice if you're going to award more than one trophy, you know, because he won overall and he won for his den. So let's say that, yeah, we don't want to have the kids have too many trophies, that we spread them out. So we're going to do test 2, or first name, test 2. So I'm going to go back to awards, fastest lion, double click on it, and I'm going to do test 2, test. This one right here. And save it. Actually, was that fastest lion? Yes, it was. I'm going to do that again. And fastest line, yep, we got that. And I'm not sure why the save isn't going to go. Oh, we're going to put that as priority 2. I do not. And then finally, the awards. We have best design. And so best design, there's a voting that occurs, and let's just say randomly that Muppet Dancing wins. So we go ahead, and I'm going to make that priority 3. And so, I do not. Okay, so now when I look at awards, I can see the winners here. This is my chance to check everything and also make sure that the priority is the correct way, and I can go ahead and reveal it. So I'm going to reveal the best design first, then fastest line, then fastest overall. So now, when I get to here, I'm going to, this is the display, and let me take this and bring it over here. And so now I get to decide. So I'm going to do all the scouts, and I'm going to, so one at a time. I think in this case it's speed general. And we had everything sort of together, but I think we probably could have broken it out this way. We just did it by priority, but you could do it this way as well. So we're going to reveal the first one, and it's going to come up on the purple screen. Let's see, I'll move this over. So I'll do reveal, and we do best design, Muppet Dancing, car number 4, yay! So this is the third one, and then the fastest lion, and then fastest overall. So that is, from beginning to end, with late people, I skip the adults, but it would be the same thing. I guess, like even now, I could take the adults and I could race them. Now I'd have to schedule adults here. And so if I did the race, I'd have to say, let's see. So here's scouts. Oh, this is the schedule, right? So then I would actually have to race it here, and this will be, again, I have this. You can it would be completely separate, and now I'm going to add the manual results. I'm going to run. Right, do it here. I'm going to run the adults. And so it would be the exact same thing as I would run through it, and then I would do the awards the exact same way. So that is the entire beast in and of itself. So hopefully this helps someone. Thanks. Will out.